Okay, I see you're back. Hopefully, I mean, you lived through my cutting. It's not that great. I never said it was, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to give some final thoughts on the 15th anniversary JKOO slash Sinosword sword. Okay. Very briefly, fit and finish are absolutely exceptional. Very tightly done. A lot of care was put into the assembly on it. I had a chipping problem with the blade, and I did grind it out and resharpen it. Did some more test cutting, as you saw, and I had done some previously during the week. And I hate to report, but it still has a bunch of microchips along it just from doing those easy cuts. So overall, it's kind of a disappointment, honestly. It handles superbly, and it looks fantastic. But with the chipping on the edge of the blade, I would have to say that's a heat treating problem. And that makes the sword basically kind of non-functional as a sword. I'm going to keep it for a beater. I'm just going to cut things with it and just generally have some silly fun with it because at this point, it doesn't honestly matter. Now, with that said, I would never post this or publicly call out a company without having first contacted them. And I have been in constant contact with them. They are very concerned about their product. They are doing a really good job of trying to make it better. They are honestly doing everything they can. And these things take time. So as consumers, you have to be patient on it. Now, the sword may not have met my expectations, but their customer service more than exceeded it. I have reported the problem to them. As I said, I was in discussions with them, and on their own initiative, they sent me an entirely brand new sword. And for that, I am very appreciative. That sword's going to be a decorative piece. It's going to be on display. I'm going to use this one for actual cutting purposes. So that's kind of the final thoughts on this sword. Now, I'm going to continue talking for a few more minutes. If all you cared about was this particular sword, you can click off now and go on about your business. The remainder of my time, I want to talk directly to the sword manufacturers. That's Sinosword, Chinese, Topeka, and even you too, Albion, even though you're in a tier higher. I'm mostly going to be discussing the manufacturers that produce swords in the under $300 range, what we consider budget swords. It's all about consumer expectations. Okay, the consumers are looking for the total package of goods and services that your swords are providing. Okay, and yes, they are nitpicky on the individual details, but those can often be overlooked, especially in the budget category, because you do have to make certain compromises at those prices. For example, the JKOO Sinosword. This is really exceptional care and attention to detail in putting it together. Even though the actual components themselves, this is synthetic leather, it has stamped components on it. They're not high tier, but they were done very well. And as a consumer, you look at that and say, even though these aren't what the quote unquote high quality parts, they were done well. It shows the company cares about their product and it cares about the consumer, and the consumer gets a product that at least looks really good, even though the long-term durability may not be there. You can contrast that with my Onigiri. This is a good example of a total package being able to have overlooked some of the more egregious flaws with it. I absolutely love this blade. This blade is fast, it's maneuverable, it fits my style excellently, it's been through a lot, it's indestructible, it's built like a Soviet tractor, which means it's built like a Soviet tractor. So as good as the JKOO fit and finish is, it's as bad on this one. The wrapping is not very tight, not very even. The fit is absolutely atrocious, which is the best thing I can say for it. Not a lot of care. and detail put into the assembly. But as a consumer, we're willing to overlook that because of the tremendous strength and value we get from it actually being able to be used as a sword. If it wasn't for the obvious obvious differences in it, I would take the fittings off of this and put it on this blade all day long, all day long. So if you can make a blade like this and put just the attention to detail of assembly like this, that would add almost nothing to your cost. And the consumers would be super happy with that because, again, the total package would be excellent. So even with this sword with the atrocious fit and finish, the total package in my mind makes it a good value. Now I want to show you another sword, one that was done correctly in all areas. And I just recently picked this up this year, and this is the Topeka Fulham Gladius. Okay, this sword has it all. Okay, it's not perfect, and I'll tell you why. It's not perfect. If you look down the blade, there's a little bit of waviness on it. I think you can see that a little bit. There's a little scab in portion there on the handle. You probably can't see that so much. So it's not perfect by any means, but it is exceptionally well done. It's lightweight in the hand. It's balanced perfectly. The edge is gorgeous on it. I mean, come on, look at this scabbard. This thing was under $200. Okay, this is a kind of a thin stamp metal. It's not high tier, but again, the baldric to hang it, the total package is absolutely wonderful. This is an exceptional deal, even though the individual components aren't what was considered high tier, high quality. But this shows the company cares about their product. They're listening to the customers and they're giving a total package that works. Now, interestingly enough, I have one of their older Gladius. This is a Topeka Gladius from around 25 years ago. Compared to this one, there's no comparison. This thing's a freaking piece of railroad track, okay? The blade is really strong. I mean, I've done some things with this over the last 25 years, but the balance is not so good. It's very thick. It's clumsy in the hand. The handle is just really bad. What can you say? But this is an example of what a company can do when they really try to improve their product. And that's what it's all about. It's about making something basic, which is the blade. The blade is the most important thing on the sword. If that fails, the sword fails. Okay, this is a wonderful, wonderful blade. I can't praise it enough. It's a nuclear bomb goes off, only two things are going to survive: cockroaches and this thing. Okay, gorgeous. Again, I am disappointed in the heat treating on the blade. Sinosword did send me an entirely brand new one, and they have been receiving my feedback, and they are really trying to improve their product. They've done a really good job of the fit and finish. I stand by that. It's absolutely perfect. And that shows that they are capable of doing it, that they have the skill, they have the equipment, and the thing that they need to keep up is the desire. If they have the desire to continue making a budget sword that has this level of finish, but a better blade, what they're going to come up with is something like this. And this is kind of a shame in a way, because Topeka used to have a really bad reputation. Some of their offerings now aren't anywhere near as good as this. So if I have a message to Topeka, whoever you put in charge of this project, give them a raise, move them to the office on the upper floor, and put them in charge of all the rest of your stuff, because they got this one absolutely right. And this was under $200. You make stuff like this in a katana, and people will buy it. They will buy it and buy it and buy it, because there's lots of people out there that quite honestly, they can't afford an Albion. They can't afford custom manufacturing. $1,000, $2,000 sword is completely out of their price range. And even telling them, oh, you need to save up, that's just not practical. People aren't professionals. They may not even be a practitioner. they're just a hobbyist. So they're looking at the $300 range, $200 to $300. Um, you know, make this like this, and you're going to kill the the sub $300 market, honestly. These swords from Sinosword, they'll run normally about 150 to 200 bucks, give or take. Okay, if they do this with their regular production blades and they fix their problem with the heat treating, they got a real winner here. Absolutely. Even if the price goes up slightly, these things will sell like hotcakes, because these will be better than anything else on the market nowadays in that price range. So with that said, that's basically all I have to say on this topic. Again, I'm just going to use this one for a beater. This one is for my zombie apocalypse. It's with me, all times. And this is an example of how it's done right. Every aspect of this. Even though not high quality material and it still has some flaws, it's the total package that the customer is looking for. So with that, I thank you. And again, always remember, these are actual weapons. They're not toys, okay? They've killed lots and lots and lots of people over the last several thousands of years, okay? They're no joke. So when you're out there and you're cutting with them, or you're just playing with them or doing whatever, always remember to be safe, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. There's nothing here that's worth you going to the hospital over, and there's nothing here worth you or somebody else getting killed over. So use extreme caution with these. So with that, I thank you and have a great day.